Hello, dear friends. Let us begin with our discussion on the single phase full bridge converters. In the previous video, we discussed about the uncontrolled converter in which diodes were used, right? And this I have given you as an assignment, semi-controlled converter, and this analysis will be much easier if we discuss the fully controlled converter. In semi-controlled converter, what happens is we are having output current that is flowing in one direction, and output voltage is also in one direction. So we are having one quadrant, single quadrant operation. And in fully controlled converter, we are having two quadrant operation. That means the output voltage is also is available in positive as well as in negative direction, and but the current is in in one direction only. By this we can say that the power flow in single quadrant operation or in semi control or semi inverter, this basically, let me write it down over here, this basically is known as the semi inverter. So in this the power flow is in one direction only, that is from the source to the load. In this, the power basically in one part of the operation of the circuit flows from the source to the load, while in other part or in another mode the power goes from the load to the supply. So let us continue with the single phase full converter, or we are considering this. That means we are going to a bridge converter that is having four thyristors now. Earlier, as you can see over here, we used diodes over here to just to see how this system behaves, and I just made these points of thyristors to show you what is the difference between the full bridge or full converter diode based and thyristor based. Now see over here, we are having this circuit in which we are having a source, an AC source, whose magnitude can be written in terms of RMS values, uh, and these are the four thyristors connected in bridge connection, and this is the load, basically RLE load. So this E basically can be due to a battery that is connected in the system, or second thing it can be this whole thing represents a motor, DC motor. There is a back EMF which opposes the supply basically. So we are concerned with the output voltage that is across the whole load. Okay, now how we are going to understand the circuit, and using the waveforms. So let us see the circuit over here, and this is the supply waveform, right? And I am going to fire these thyristors at certain angle alpha. So in the negative half cycle, I will be firing another second set of thyristors at pi plus alpha. And in the earlier version we were having diodes, so the alpha was equal to 0. So this, we can say that this is a more generalized case even for the thyristor or the diode based operation. So if we see over here, let us understand the operation using the uh, switches and the waveforms. So let us suppose that this point over here as 0. Basically we should not take it at 0. We are talking about the steady state operation. what do I mean by steady state? I mean that this converter is running for quite some time, and after that I'm analyzing this the performance of the circuit. Okay, so let us say, for the sake of simplicity, that this point is 0. Okay, but in fact this operation has been continued from a point back in time. Okay, so if this is a 50 hertz supply, then this angle pi will correspond to 0.01 seconds. This 2 pi will correspond to 0.02 seconds, 1 divided by 50, and so on and so forth. We can also have a 60 hertz supply that will correspond to 1 upon 60. This point will be 1 upon 60. This will be 1 upon 60 divided by 2. Now, anyhow, if I trigger at this point, I trigger T1 and T2. That means I'm turning on T1 and T2. Oh, pardon me, this is written in a wrong way. I should correct it. Sorry for this mishap. No problem. This should be T2, and this should be T4. Sometimes we can also write it like this also: T1, T4, T3, T2, T1, T2, T3, T4. That's not a big problem, but in fact what happens is this should not be turned on and turned off simultaneously. That's the thing. So either we do that analysis, or we should stick to the analysis that I'm doing right now, that we are turning on T1 and T2 simultaneously, and T3 and T4 simultaneously. So that's why the numbering will ease our problem. So let us say that we are triggering on or turning on T1 and T2 at angle alpha after 0. Okay, so what will happen? As it is the positive half cycle, this A will be positive with respect to B. So already T1 and T2 will be forward biased, right? T1 and T2 will be forward biased. By triggering it on, the current will start flowing from T1 through the load and through T2. And what about T3 and T4? The voltage will a negative voltage will come across these two thyristors, and what will be the peak of that? It will be minus of Vm, because this voltage plus this voltage will come across these two thyristors, and they will evenly divide among each other. So what should be the waveform right now that is across the load? I mean by V output. So if we draw that waveform, let me choose a blue. It is already chosen a blue color. So at this angle alpha, I've already driven a line at alpha. It will start replicating the supply voltage, right, like this. Let us come up to pi. Now at pi, the polarity of the supply voltage will reverse. This will become negative, this portion will become negative, and this will become positive. According to this condition, T1 and T2 should be reverse biased, because the voltage polarity has changed. But the thing is that the conduction will continue because of the inductive nature of the load. Okay, so what will be the waveform of the current from alpha to pi? So let this be the voltage output waveform, and this should be the output current waveform. So the output current waveform from here, it should be like this. That means from this point to this point, that means from alpha to pi, this current should be gradually rising in nature. That means I will draw it like this. Let me draw it with another color, red color, up till here. For example, it is rising up till here, like this. And from pi to pi plus alpha, from pi to pi plus alpha, what will happen? The current will flow through this path only, because the current is not going below the holding current of the thyristors. It will still continue to conduct through this load. And up till when it will conduct? Up till the point when we are not triggering on the T3 and T4. If you see over here, this voltage has already gone into negative side. So accordingly, these two thyristors must be what? They should be in forward bias. But because we are not triggering it from pi to alpha plus pi plus alpha, because we are not triggering them on, a forward voltage, the blocking voltage, will be coming across these two thyristors, right? So until we turn on T3 and T4, T1 and T2 will conduct through the load. Okay, and in this time the current should fall a bit. It will come like this. Sorry, it will come like this. And what about the current? What about the voltage in this zone? The voltage from pi to pi plus alpha should be what? It should follow this suit, like this. Now at this point, pi plus alpha, at this point, what we are doing? We are turning on T3 and T4. As soon as we turn on T3 and T4, this voltage will come across T1 and T2 and they will be reverse biased. They will turn off due to line commutation or natural commutation. These two will turn off, and the current conduction will now begin from B point to T3 through the load, and then T4 and A, and back to the source. Okay. Now if you see the flow of the current through the load, it is again in the same direction as it was in the earlier direction. So what will happen to the current? It will start rising up till 2 pi, like this. Let me draw it with the same red color, like this. And what will happen to the load voltage? What will happen to the load voltage? Because it will follow the same, it will follow this portion of the voltage, input voltage, but in the negative part, negative sense, right? Because now the earlier terminal was A and B that was coming across the load. Now it is coming B is coming to this point, and this point is coming to A. So now it is VBA rather than VAB. So what should be the waveform like in this region? It should be negative of this. That means it should be positive in this fashion. So it should be starting from this point, like this, maximum, and then going to minimum. And sometimes you connect this line. Okay. So this is pi plus alpha. This point is pi plus alpha. Plus alpha. Okay. So it will conduct up till here, and it will of course go again like this. And the current through T3 and T4 will fall like this. Like earlier, in this zone, the current was rising in T1 and T2 up till pi, then it was falling from pi to pi plus alpha through T1 and T2 only. Here we are starting conduction of T3 and T4. The current will start rising in T3 and T4, and as soon as it is reverse bias, the current will start falling through T3 and T4 itself. Okay, and at this point again T1 and T2 will be turned on and T3 and T4 will be completely shut off. Right, now you see that there is a ripple in this current, right? Now let me if I complete this like this, there's a this is having a ripple content. And this will, because this current, this output current is, of course, it is directly linked to the source current IS. If I draw what is the source current, what should I do? If I draw the source current, I should take another color. Let me take an orange color for this. And what is the source current then? It should be exactly like this. It should be right. That means it should be alpha. This should be pi plus alpha. Then what should happen over here? The current polarity will now change in the input side. Okay, it should be like this. I should go like this. Sorry, I should rub this off. I should go like this. Sorry again. I'm trying to build it like this. Then it should go like this, and it should go like this. So this is how the current input side current will look like. Now what about the we can just extend this discussion that has happened over here to our discussion over here from 0 to alpha, because as I have told earlier that we have already started this from long time back. So this point is our starting point, that is why we are taking it at 0 seconds. Okay, so this should be like this. Should take rather the same color, right? It should be like this. Here the current will of course be like this, and here of course the current will be coming from the negative side, right? Like this. So I hope that you have understood what the waveforms must be looking like. Now this understanding these waveforms and this input side waveforms is rather typical, and there is a lot of ripple content over here, and here we can see that if you want to take the what we have already studied earlier, the parameters that are going to be difficult to calculate. So what we do is we are what I'm doing is we are taking a simple problem, or rather say that we are simplifying our problem. The problem, how we are taking a very highly inductive load. Like for example motor, and for that we can consider that the output current is ripple free. That means to say that the output current is like this, exact, that means DC. Okay, so what will happen to the source current? It will become square waves. Okay, if I just rub this off for your sake, what will happen to these? It should be like this. So this is alpha, this is pi plus alpha, this is 2 pi plus alpha, and this is 3 pi plus alpha, right? And here, let me check if here it is recording or not. Yes, it is recording. So instead of using a rippled output waveform, we can analyze this waveform simply using Fourier analysis. Fourier analysis of this kind of waveform is easier rather than that earlier waveform, right? So in the next video we are going to discuss the mathematical aspect of these waveforms.